Hi everyone, welcome back to this session of PMP drag and drop questions, a fantastic way to prepare for your PMP because we're going through drag and drop questions which you're probably going to see between 2 and 10 on your exam, and we're also getting up to speed on the latest definitions, the order and process of things, and scenarios and problem solving, which is also just a great way to review before you do take the exam. I will be putting this in the Udemy course as well, which is currently the top-rated Udemy course for the PMP. A lot of people are enjoying that, and that is absolutely fantastic. Let's get into the first question. Okay, Agile concepts, getting opinions on the product and process, speeds, and increasing learning for future releases. Goodness gracious. Opinions on the product and the process. Oh, and that speeds increasing learning for future releases. That sounds like we're doing a retrospective. We're putting information back into our process to improve. Okay, the team come together and reflect on their process and the lessons learned. Oh, hang on a minute. That sounds more like a retrospective. So what's this one? Opinions on the product. That's going to be, maybe early and frequent feedback. We'll see if any other ones fit the bill just in case. The team finish a sprint. That sounds like a sprint review. They demonstrate the usable increment to the customer. That's going to be our sprint review. The team have a visual display of project information for anyone to see. That's our information radiator. And when the team are meeting to update what they worked on yesterday, what they're going to do today, and raise any blockers, that's our daily stand-up for Agile ceremonies. Let's have a quick look here. Okay, we did get those correct. Page 150 under definitions in the Agile practice guide. How did you guys go with that one? More Agile concepts. Oh, and some of my favorite here, definition of ready and definition of done. So a prioritized list of features to be delivered. That's our product backlog. And we break that down into user stories and we put that into a sprint. So the user stories, the team decides that they can complete in a sprint. That's our sprint backlog. Now the criteria that the team agree for when an item is ready to be worked on, that's the definition of ready or DOR. The definition of done is the criteria that we agree on for when an item is complete. So this might be the item's been coded, it's been tested, it's been checked off with the product owner, then we can class that item as complete. It's our definition of done. Let's have a quick check, and that's come through in the Agile Practice Guide again. Check that out for yourself. Many, many definitions for us to look through. How did you guys go with that one? Okay, Agile. Oh, lots of Agile here. The project designs by feature, builds by feature, tests and releases by feature, and has dedicated feature teams. That sounds like feature-driven development. One of my favorite ways to do Agile, and one of the frameworks that fed into the Agile Manifesto back in 2001. So really, really cool. Developers write the test first, then they write the code that will allow the test to pass. We're doing test first or test-driven development. Business analysts write the tests in user-centric language, what customers want and what customers do. That is our given, when, then, or behavior-driven development, or BDD. Work is frequently incorporated into the main build, and then it's tested as a whole. We're continuously integrating it. Continuous integration, or CI. Time-boxed research or learning, often for technical solutions or acceptance criteria, to figure out acceptance criteria with a team. That is a spike, time-boxed learning. Let's quickly check these, make sure that we got them correct. And that is looking really good. Agile Practice Guide again, look through that under our definitions for any of those to find those items. Agile measurements, the time to complete a task or a smaller piece of work, for example, a user story, that is our cycle time, just for a single task or a single small piece. But the time from customer order to customer delivery is the whole time. For a feature, for example, that a customer is going to get their hands on, that is our lead time. Now, how much was committed versus how much was completed? That's how predictable our process is. And we can do that with a velocity chart, if you remember from the previous questions, where we show the velocity or the amount of user story points that we completed in previous iterations. And then we can use that to be more predictable going forward and to put that amount of user story points in the next sprint or the upcoming sprints. The amount of work waiting to be completed is our queue size, and the measures of the ratio of value added or VA work to non-value added or NVA to the total work time shows how efficient our process is. It's process efficiency. Let's check that out just in case. And it looks like we got it right. So that's fantastic work. Page 66, Agile Practice Guide, Agile Teams Measure Results. That one was really, really good. Oh, the theory of constraints. Oh, I love this one personally. Very Agile centric, this one. And the order of the theory of constraints, I think Eli Goldratt was the one who did this. First, we need to identify it. So we're going to grab that. And now what do we need to do? Then we're going to improve the process or streamline the process for that constraint. We're just going to do everything we can to improve it without spending money on it. Once we've improved it, we're going to keep that process just at capacity. So just below the top capacity that we can handle for that process. So doing the most we possibly can without overloading it. And then once we've done all of that, then we can spend money on it or add resources to it or add system power to it. We can elevate the constraint, but we don't want to do that before we've improved it as much as we can. I hope that makes sense, and that's just a great way to operate in a team, and that's why the theory of constraints is so great. And once we've done all of that, a new bottleneck will pop up. Once we've solved one, we'll get a bottleneck somewhere else, so we're going to repeat that on other processes. And looks like we did get that correct, so that's good. Check out The Goal by Dr. Eli Goldratt if you want to learn more about the theory of constraints, but that's basically it. It's a really, really good way to operate. Okay, Agile frameworks. Oh, my favorite, Kanban. Which one is Kanban? It is a workflow management method that optimizes work by limiting the work in progress. And when we limit work in progress, we're not task switching or multitasking. So we're just focusing on the work at hand, and amazingly, we get work done faster as a result. If we facilitate iterative progress through time-boxed sprints, when do we use sprints? We use sprints in Scrum with a focus on continuous improvement, focus on frequent releases, continuous feedback, and high customer involvement. Oh, that could be either one. Probably extreme programming, because Scrumban is a combination of Kanban and Scrum. So here we go here, Scrum with the flexibility of Kanban. We put those two things together, and that's how most Agile teams work these days, is a combination of those two things. So let's have a look and see how we went. And that has come through. Excellent work, guys. Page 99 to 111, that's all of the Agile and Lean frameworks in the Agile Practice Guide, if you want to check that out for yourself. Okay, let's have a look at what we've got next. More Agile frameworks. Wow, that's good. And you're definitely going to get some stuff on Agile frameworks in your exam, so very, very handy to know. The project designs by feature, builds by feature, tests and releases by feature, and has dedicated feature teams. We did this one before. This is our Agile feature-driven development. The team focus on constraint-driven delivery with formalized prioritization of scope. For example, Moscow. Do you know what Moscow is? Must have, should have, could have, will not have. That's how we prioritize our scope. And our constraints, remember, scope, schedule, and cost. And in Agile, scope is variable, and the other two are fixed. And the method that brought that into the workplace is DSDM. So that was back in the 90s, wonderful way to work, and that fed into the Agile Practice Guide in 2001. A family of methodologies that emphasizes tailoring practices to the specific needs of the project and the team. That is Crystal, because remember, with Crystal, they have a range of methods depending on how big the project is. So Crystal Clear, Crystal Sapphire, and all of these ones were different stones and colors to determine how big the project was and how much governance you needed around it. And that just leaves an iterative cycles across 7 key disciplines, such as modeling, implementation, and test. That's going to be our Agile Unified Process, or AUP. Let's have a quick check. And there we are. Excellent work. Page 99 to 111 again. in the Agile Practice Guide for all of those Agile and Lean frameworks to check out. How did you guys go with those ones? Okay, scaling frameworks, also very handy to know. If we apply Scrum ways of working to programs and portfolios only when necessary, that is going to be our large-scale Scrum, because less or large-scale Scrum actually recommends that we don't use a scaling method, only if we absolutely have to. Now, if we focus on organizing project teams around value streams, that's going to be our Scaling Agile Framework, or SAFe. They use the value streams method, which again came from the Toyota Production System, or Lean. A scaled approach where multiple Scrum teams collaborate through cross-team meetings, I'm not sure about that, we've got a few others, aims to extend the Scrum practices to the organizational level. Okay, between these two, I think Scrum of Scrums is just having Scrum like a program at a portfolio level. So at a team, program, and portfolio level, basically more Scrums across more teams with a person representing for the project team at a program level, for example. But enterprise Scrum, that's when we're extending Scrum practices to the organization, across the organization. And lastly, a framework that uses Agile and Lean methodologies, that's going to be our Disciplined Agile. And that has come to be owned by the Project Management Institute. So now they've got, they're integrating all of those into that one approach called Disciplined Agile. And there we go, that one is correct. Page 111 under Scaling Frameworks. Excellent work, very, very handy to know. And only 2 more to go in this little section, so you're doing an amazing job. What have we got? Oh, and also, I love this stuff, the cost of quality. Internal failure, external failure. William wants to improve the process and provide training for the whole project team. William is preventing a quality issue from happening. Sophia is a software tester and creates a plan to find defects or errors in the product. She is appraising that product. She's checking it out. Quality assurance. That's the cost of assurance. The product fails during quality assurance testing and review with the senior user. That is internal failure. It hasn't reached the customer yet, but it has failed. We've found a defect. And lastly, the project team have released the product, but the customer reviews show that there is a major issue. It has reached the customer. It is external to the project team, so it is external failure. And that's our cost of quality. Let's double check. Excellent. We got that one right. Page 88 in the PMBOK Guide, 7th edition, cost of quality, if you want to check that out for yourself. Last one in this little section. Agile scenarios. Oh, wow. Okay, if we want to involve actual users of the system early and showcase to the customers in the sprint review, that sounds like we want to do that if we have a poor user experience. Now, if we're ensuring the 3 amigos collaborate regularly to create the user stories, we're going to do that if we have probably unclear requirements. So to get clear on requirements, we can get our 3 amigos together to collaborate regularly. Now, if we have an unclear purpose for the team, let's have a look. Workshop the team charter to align the mission and the high-level features. That will give us a purpose with our team charter. That does sound correct, so let's do that first, and if it's we can always change it if this one ends up being more correct. So workshop the team charter, definition of ready and definition of done. That's going to help us get clear on working agreements, because definition of ready and definition of done are more of our ways of working. I think that's what we're going to do. Let's double check. All right, excellent work. That's come through as perfect. And page 58 in the Agile Practice Guide if you want to check that out under Agile Pain Points and Troubleshooting. But you know what's not a pain point is all of the wonderful work that you're doing preparing for the PMP exam and getting up to speed on all of these scenarios, all of these definitions, and a few drag and drop questions so that we're prepared for that when we get that during our exam. I know that you can do it, and I know that you can pass your exam because you're doing an amazing job studying and practicing every single day. I know you can do it. I believe in you, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.